People often despise this bird the most, yet it is also considered one of the most valuable birds in some countries. Such conflicting images raise questions about its intriguing backstory. The term cormorant comes from Old French and originally meant sea crow. Some speculate that any black bird was called a crow back then. Crows are often seen negatively across many cultures, symbolizing bad omens, misfortune, deceit, or even evil. Additionally, the cormorant's reputation as a greedy underwater hunter further cemented its negative image due to its snake-like neck visible when it surfaces. However, there's more to this bird than meets the eye. Indigenous Australians see their local cormorants as soul carriers, unlike eagles that snatch prey from water and fly away. These birds have shorter wings relative to their size, making flight costly but diving excellent. They often hunt underwater, using their streamlined bodies for speed and special membranes around their eyes for protection. For instance, Australian cormorants typically dive for about 40 seconds at depths up to 10 meters. In seasons with sharks, they might go deeper. Extreme cases like Antarctic cormorants can reach depth of over 60 meters, far beyond expectations for birds. This diving prowess earned them the title of soul carriers in cultures where the afterlife is believed to be deep underwater. Another behavior that adds to its mysterious reputation, spreading wings on shore post, dive most don't know this helps dry their waterlogged feathers, crucial for flight and defense against predators. Legend has it cormorants lack oil glands like other birds, making them excellent divers but vulnerable to water damage. Post-dive wing spreading is thus essential. Unfortunately, its dark color and posture, resembling a crucified Christ, only reinforced negative perceptions. In the 17th century poem, The Garden, the cormorant was even likened to Satan, symbolizing greed and deceit. This might explain why many dislike them so much today. But there's more. In Patagonia, around 5,300 breeding pairs gather during mating season to build nests from beach debris, seaweed, feathers, mud, and guano. Parents take turns incubating eggs and feeding chicks until they grow feathers for warmth. This level of care and such a large breeding population means that the survival rate for young birds in the empire is quite high. This also keeps the number of imperial porcelain birds relatively stable. However, this stability can actually be one of the reasons humans are troubled by them. In fact, among all species of porcelain birds, only one has gone extinct. The vast majority have very stable numbers. But sometimes their populations become too stable, causing problems for humans. Don't think that 5,000 is their limit. In reality, there are many groups with over 10,000 members worldwide. For example, the North American double-crested porcelain bird has a total population exceeding 1 million, and there are numerous independent groups of more than 10,000. Such large numbers cause far more trouble than you might imagine. Their nest-building behavior can become an issue because not all species build nests on the ground. Many prefer to build them in trees. And these birds seem to have OCD building nests that are big and heavy. If there were just one or two, it wouldn't be a problem. But when dozens or even hundreds of porcelain bird nests are on a single tree over time, it can lead to broken branches and trunks. Moreover, the trees endure not only physical attacks but also chemical ones, namely, the droppings from the nests. When large numbers of porcelain birds build nests in trees, their excrement pours down from the treetops, making photosynthesis difficult for leaves covered in feces and altering the soil's chemical properties around the tree, reducing nutrient absorption. Over time, under these conditions, the trees may end up looking like this. Yes, they are not just unsightly but also deadly to trees. Their troubles don't stop there. Their calls can create noise pollution, and their regurgitation habits mean they always carry a foul smell. It is hard to find anything likable about them. And if these birds start hitting your wallet, how could you possibly love them? Indeed, this is probably the most hated aspect of these creatures by humans. Of course, it doesn't apply to everyone, but specifically to fishermen and anglers who rely on the sea for a living. For them, these birds are absolute pests because they eat voraciously. With their good swimming skills in water and long necks that can quickly extend, they catch prey efficiently. Even in murky waters, they use their sharp hearing to locate fish, Sometimes, depending on the size of the prey, they even hunt in groups. Their insatiable appetite and indiscriminate attacks mean wherever they go, fish populations dwindle significantly. Estimates suggest they can consume up to 500 grams of fish daily. In some freshwater systems during winter months, their presence can result in an annual loss of up to 80 kilograms per each hectare, more than many other predatory fish. Taiwanese news reported that 1,500 porcelain birds overwintering there could clear about 400,000 spotted fish in one season. This shows how powerful they are. While seen as a helpful ally for eradicating invasive species by Taiwanese people to fishermen and anglers elsewhere, these birds are thieves stealing their catch. Besides competing with anglers, many salmon farms, trout farms, and other open sea fish farms suffer from their raids, leading to significant financial losses each year. Many governments allocate hunting quotas to reduce damage, which is why I think porcelain birds are considered one of the most hated birds in the world. It is understandable why someone might want to burn them all down when seeing this scene. It's just because they ruining livelihoods and profits. Interestingly, while most countries view these birds as pests in Asia, especially China and Japan, they've been cleverly used for fishing. This method has been found in ancient Egypt, Peru, Korea, and India, but was truly developed in East Asia. It is known as the porcelain bird fishing technique, where porcelain birds are trained to catch fish. Porcelain birds must be trained from a young age, around 3 months old. They were taken to rivers to practice fishing, while hungry for maximum efficiency. In Japan, fishermen use boat lanterns to attract fish and tie ropes to porcelain birds to train them to follow commands underwater. It is quite an unusual sight. But how do you get the birds to hand over their catch? Observing their habits, people notice that after catching fish, they often eat on the water surface or even take smaller ones ashore before eating. So clever fishermen tie a straw rope around the porcelain bird's neck so it can only swallow small fish while larger ones remain stuck in its throat. When the bird returns with a big catch, fishermen retrieve the fish from its mouth without letting them swallow it, keeping them hungry for more fishing until the boat is full. Only then are the ropes removed and some small fish given as reward to the porcelain birds. This fishing method has a history of over 1,000 years in both Japan and China. It is really impressive how clever people are. The way they fish is quite unique. However, this method not only causes the rapid disappearance of bird flocks due to their enormous appetite and indiscriminate feeding habits, but also leads to serious pollution from their droppings. Additionally, there are concerns about animal cruelty and the emergence of more efficient fishing methods in modern times, which have led to a decline in its use. Nowadays, it is mostly seen as a form of performance art or cultural experience. But this is definitely an excellent example of humans cleverly utilizing natural resources. But that's not all. The most valuable way to utilize these birds exists somewhere else on Earth, where they are considered the most valuable birds for business purposes. In South American countries like Peru, these birds have earned a title worth billions of dollars. This reputation stems from the European Industrial Revolution in the 19th century. As population growth led to increased demand for food and agricultural pressure, traditional fertilizers couldn't keep up with the demands. Fortunately, people discovered an excellent organic fertilizer, seabird droppings, also known as white gold. Despite earlier mentions of bird droppings' negative environmental impacts before chemical fertilizers were invented, seabird droppings rich in nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium made for highly effective fertilizers. Where could one find such large quantities of bird droppings? Seabirds often gather on isolated islands where they are safe from predators. Islands off the coast of Peru became ideal locations for collecting these valuable droppings due to their dry climate and minimal rainfall, allowing droppings to accumulate without decomposing. From 1848 to 1875, over 200 million tons of seabird droppings were shipped from Peru to Europe and North America. This period brought significant financial benefits to Peru, contributing about half of its total revenue for 40 years and elevating it to a military power in South America. But what kind of bird could produce such valuable droppings? The answer is the cormorant, specifically the Peruvian cormorant, which produces large amounts of droppings due to its fish-eating habits with high nesting densities. Their habitats became covered with substantial layers of droppings, making them a favorite for fertilizer collectors. After evaluation by relevant institutions, it was found that the value created by these droppings could exceed $1 billion, earning the Peruvian cormorant titles like the most valuable bird in business and a bird worth $1 billion. However, this success came at a cost. The disturbance during droppings collection, destruction of habitats, and reduction in nesting sites led to significant declines in cormorant populations. Today, the Peruvian cormorant is one of the few species listed as endangered. The island's guano deposits were also depleted within 30 or 40 years, leaving Peru's economy in a dire state after the boom ended with the advent of chemical fertilizers. The once valuable seabird droppings became less sought after, leaving behind only damaged habitats and struggling bird populations. After reading these stories about cormorants and humans, do you still consider them one of your least favorite birds?